Welcome to Little Lessons. We're here to teach you about a country in just 5 minutes, bringing you all the things you didn't know about the places you didn't know existed. Our series begins with Nauru. So first things first, where is Nauru? Well, it's a tiny little island in the Pacific Ocean, about 1,800 miles northeast of Australia, and is pretty much on the equator, only 1 degree south. Its nearest neighbour is an island over 180 miles away. At only 8 square miles, it's the world's smallest island nation and independent republic, and the only republic in the world without an official capital. It resembles a potato from the bird's eye view, with a fringe of coral reef. This fringe means that access by boat is near impossible, and there is only one small airline that services the island. There's a small lagoon, but no rivers or streams. Drinking water is limited, so Nauru has resorted to importing most of its water. Nauru's small population makes it the 4th smallest state by population in the world, yet has been inhabited for at least 3,000 years. There were originally 12 Polynesian and Micronesian tribes on the island, symbolised on the flag by a white 12-pointed star. The people speak Nauruan, a distinct Polynesian language. The country has a surprising amount of obese inhabitants. Type 2 diabetes is rife, with in fact the highest prevalence in the world. The reasons behind this are complex, but partly due down to the fact that almost all food is imported. Instead of surviving on fish and vegetables, inhabitants now eat imported unhealthy processed food. Add into this the sedentary lifestyle due to lack of work opportunities, poor health education, and huge portions as a sign of their prosperity, and you've got a recipe for disaster. It's not exclusive to Nauru. Pacific Island nations occupy the top 7 places in the global obesity rankings, with Nauru topping the charts. Life expectancy is low, and illness rates high. The majority of the wealth garnered by the nation comes from the mining of phosphate discovered in the 20th century. Phosphate is a potent fertiliser and extremely valuable. It's formed when birds' poo builds up and becomes fossilised. The climate and positioning of the island is basically a toilet break for migrating seabirds, makes it the perfect place for the accumulation of poo. Once the valuable substance was discovered, the mining began and obscene wealth followed. Nauru was once one of the richest places on Earth. At one point, it had the 2nd highest per capita GDP in the world, behind only oil-rich Saudi Arabia. But unfortunately, there's a limit to the resource, and now the landscape is scarred by mining. 80% of the country has been mined. As mining declined, unemployment rose until at the end of the millennium, Nauru's unemployment was the highest in the world at 90%. As a result, the island has become heavily dependent upon aid. Nauru has a number of long-term problems it needs to address. As a fairly flat island, it is at risk should increasing world temperatures impact on sea level change. Nauru is therefore the 7th most global warming threatened country due to flooding. And they also need to consider how they might replace the island income now that their mining source has dried up. Nauru has had to look for many alternative ways to boost its economy, including becoming a tax haven. Nauru has even used its membership of the UN General Assembly as a money-making exercise, accepting tens of millions of dollars in exchange for recognising countries. Nauru has also managed to earn extra income by taking advantage of its exclusive fishing zone 200 miles offshore and selling commercial licences. In the last 2 decades, Nauruans have also gained financial boosts by entering into agreements with Australia to detain asylum seekers to the Australian mainland, whilst their applications are being processed. This setup has provided the country with additional income, but there have been many allegations of abuse, overcrowding, and poor treatment of residents. At risk of glossing over the subject of the conditions of the asylum camps, I would like to redirect those interested in more information on the reports referred to as the Nauru Files on The Guardian, who've covered this subject in detail. So there you have it, the checkered past of the world's smallest republic that has pilfered its own resources, leaving an uninhabitable moonscape and a questionable future.